Welcome to an absolutely gorgeous Tuesday night from Cleveland Hopkins International Airport with Southwest 2887 lining up for runway 6 right heading to Denver. Hope you guys are having a great afternoon. Finally back home, finally have some time to get up here to do some plane spotting for you today. What has turned into an absolutely gorgeous evening here tonight. A little different spot tonight. Done some videos over here before trying to do a live stream. We're going to be a little farther away for departures, but trying to get both sides since we are on both runways tonight. We may see a couple of heavies later on as well. I haven't seen them actually take off yet, but we got 2 national A330s scheduled today, so we'll see if any of them show up. We've had a lot of diversions lately as well, so we'll see what all we get. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you had a great 4th of July.
2887, contact departure.
We're here to catch some aviation action for you tonight.
2118, cross 630, Sierra, ground point 7.
Southwest 737 heading out. We got a Delta CRJ inbound, and I see an American Eagle E175 is taxiing over there. Oh, I just say it feels really loose tonight. And we did bring the encoder, so we have the graphics for you tonight. Apologize for that last week. We'll have to do a live stream from the parking garage at some point in the next couple of days with the construction of the gold lot going on. We'll bring that to you. It'd be super backlit tonight, and with the aircraft on the 6s, it would be hard to see. So we'll get over there at some point, probably this weekend, and do a stream for you. And we'll be in Lorain on Saturday for Discover Aviation Lorain Air Show and Car Show this weekend. And it should be in Detroit next weekend for Thunder. E175 climbing the hill over there. And as that aircraft takes the runway, we'll get the CRJ that's inbound. I think out of Detroit, if I remember right.
2887, I maintain
5194 rolling out from LaGuardia this evening, not Detroit. A lot of weather in the East Coast the last couple of days, lots of diversions. Had a couple while I was out in DC. I was at Dulles with all kinds of aircraft diverting in, sitting on my airplane waiting for my flight to get out of here, watching all this really cool stuff come in. We will make a trip back out there to do some spotting at Dulles at some point. American Eagle 4389 holding short for JFK. Meanwhile, United 2476 737 MAX inbound from Denver. We have a Hera flight Gulfstream 4 out of Chicago Midway behind them. I got up here, I heard a bald eagle. When I first got up here, so I think there's an eagle somewhere. I haven't seen him yet, but I could definitely hear it. So I think it's back in the trees behind us.
294,
So if we see him, we'll try to get him on the stream for you.
Our traffic leaving Hopkins is going to be climbing northeast bound. Turn left heading 150. The spec will take you through final. Expect to join to the south side. If below 4,000, you get the field inside divine.
American Eagle taking the runway. Perry the top hat says, hello, what's new? Cool weather, that's what's new with me. Oh my goodness, we were in DC. We're supposed to be a 3-day trip.
114 kilo.
Turned into a 1-day trip just because of the heat.
3, maintain VFR.
The heat index on Saturday while I was out there was 113 at one point. So I'll take 75 and sunny today. American Eagle heading to JFK, E175. Yeah, we actually, I was gonna go with a friend. We decided to cancel because of the heat, and then I'm like, I wonder if I could do it in a day. So I made it into a day trip, which definitely I think hurt the quality of what I was able to get because I wasn't able to move around. But so it was just nice to be out there and celebrate the 4th of July and not totally get cooked. Went to the Air and Space Museum for a while. It's a good place to kind of get some food and try to stay cool. Rode home in one of these, a United Max. I was on a Max 9 on my flight, but first time I've flown on United in a couple of years. But overall, it's a great trip. We'll get back down there at some point. It was nice to finally catch the B2. I know it's kind of been a joke for a little bit. It was nice to finally catch the B2. Nice to see both generations of Air Force One. It's a shame the weather hit though. We lost the stealth flyover. We lost the big flyover review that we were supposed to have gotten. But it's still cool to get out there and see all the stuff that we were able to see. We'll get out there again at some point. So later on this year, we're gonna go back to Dulles and do a day over there. Maybe around UN week, might be what I'm kind of thinking, but we'll try to get back out there at some point. Got a Aeroflight Gulfstream inbound from Chicago. That looks to be the next inbound flight for a little bit. After that, we have Frontier out of Phoenix, we'll FedEx out of Memphis, Delta out of Atlanta. So a little bit of a delay on our inbound flights after that. And again, hopefully we'll see 2 national A330s tonight. There's 2 of them on the schedule. One was supposed to be here by now, but I keep seeing where it keeps getting pushed back. So I don't know if we'll see that one tonight. And then the other one's supposed to be taking off any minute, so we'll see. Not sure what's going on. We got a Delta 757 going to Las Vegas tomorrow.
13 miles to northwest bound at 12,000. Climb out of 5,200. We'll be stopping at 11 for you. There's an E175 jet.
So yeah, not sure what's going on. I think one of the heavies was supposed to go to Las Vegas as well, if I remember right. I know there was an Allegiant going there, I think, and then I think a Delta 757 tomorrow that's going to Las Vegas. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm assuming they're military charters, but not totally sure, so I guess we'll find out. Downside of being over here is we're a long ways away from the terminal. So like we got Air Canada Jazz taxiing out for departure. E175, I believe, heading back to Toronto. Excuse me for the little burp there. Had some homemade tacos before coming up here tonight. Ever since this system has come through, we've been on the sixes. We've been on the sixes now for several days. Which definitely makes for some nice spotting, especially in the evening with the right light. So a couple of the places on this side are really popular for photographers just because you get some really nice detailed shots of the aircraft with some really good lighting in the evening. Had a French Air Force A400 last week as well. It just came in and did a touch and go, which surprised me. Originally I started at the gas station because that's where the better lighting would be, and then they called, so just a touch and go. I'm like, what? So I wanted to try to get all the way over here because it would be really cool to get it rotating and take you back off, but didn't have enough time. Just went to Atlantic, or went to Aviator to catch it, but pretty cool to see that. See what else we might get here over the next few weeks. But I hope everyone had a great 4th of July. I hope you guys all still have your fingers and toes. And hope you stayed cool. It was absolutely ridiculously hot there for a few days. Now it's back to kind of what it was, mid-70s. Sorry about that. Messing with the comments and it froze up on me, so. Been a little bit since I've done this. We've had just a lot going on over the last couple of weeks. A little bit of heat haze, but again, nothing like what we had over the weekend. It was crazy just how consistently hot it was over the last few days. So taking a look at the airport, we should have Southwest 1163 pushing back here shortly for Chicago Midway. Delta 1449 for Minneapolis, the A220 we should have pushing back as well here pretty soon. So we'll see what we get over the next little bit. Not much flying around from a military standpoint tonight. I do see the E4 is up. Looks like they're heading towards, maybe heading towards Andrews. C-17 is up out of the right pat, and then one of the Youngstown C-130s is up also. The C-32B is up as well. I don't know if we'll see anything tonight. It's been a little bit since we had a touch and go, a U.S. Air Force touch and go, so maybe we'll get one tonight. You never know. But taking a look at the Nationals, haven't seen where they've taken off yet, so hopefully we do see them at some point. And if you're in the area, the B-29 Commemorative Air Force's B-29 Fifi is at the Air Force Museum tomorrow. Be up in Mansfield, I think, next weekend. So we'll go down and try to catch that. And then the Discover Aviation Lorraine Air Show and Car Show is this weekend on Saturday at the Lorraine Airport. So nice little event that they have up there. The C-54 is going to be there. That's going to be a really rare warbird to see. So looking forward to seeing that. And we got a few others up there as well. We'll see the Pink Jet. I think we'll see a C-47. The Tri-Jet or the Tri-Motor will be giving rides. So lots of cool things to see up there. Hope to see you guys at Lorraine on Saturday. And probably in Mansfield on Sunday. As we wrap up Bomber Week, we had the B-17 and B-25 here last week. They have a B-26 on display down there. Had another B-25 fly over my house, actually, on Monday. Then, of course, the B-1, B-2, B-52 down in DC, so looking forward to seeing the B-29 this weekend. They were supposed to have had the B-24 with them, but it sounds like Diamond Lil won't join the tour until August. So we almost got to see just about every still active flying bomber out there in a week.
We don't have any flow with that.
Taking a look at our inbounds, we'll have a FedEx MD-11 passing over here in a few minutes. So depending on which way it goes, maybe we'll try to catch it for you. Our next inbound flight is Frontier 2698 out of Phoenix, about 25 minutes out, Airbus A320. We have FedEx 361 out of Memphis, the 767 is about 25 minutes out. Delta 1339 out of Atlanta is about 45 minutes out tonight. Southwest 30 out of Las Vegas is about an hour out. American 650 out of Los Angeles is about an hour out. So definitely kind of a quiet night on the arrival side, at least for now. Things will probably change here in a little bit. Got Seafry here today. Hope you're doing well. And again, I apologize for the stream glitch there. I think we'll be good to go now. Actually, we have a diversion coming in. United 1560. 737 MAX 8 was heading to Newark out of San Jose, diverting in. I don't see any weather out that way, so I wonder if it's maybe a medical emergency or something. I see overhead here in a couple of minutes is Alaska 1787 Philadelphia to Portland, the honoring those who serve livery. That was supposed to be here today. Oh well. Empath Ninja 541 says, greetings Cleveland Center, Kim 611 Heavy heading 060 at 3:30. Good day. Take a look at the sky, see what we got coming over here. See the FedEx. Must have missed it. Glenn Paff saw the 2 CH-53 King Stallions fly over Independence over the weekend. Yeah, those were killing me because I was in DC when it came in. A friend of mine who works for one of the FBOs texted me and said, hey, there's 2 Super Stallions heading your way. I'm like, what? So that would have been really cool to see. We had a 787 Dreamliner divert in as well. And then we've had, I think we've had a 757 divert like the last 4 days. So as we dealt with a lot of weather on the East Coast. Robert Morris says, turn off the heat and humidity. Hey, this is wonderful. Compared to DC last week, this is wonderful. Oh my goodness. We had, it was about 110 with the heat, the humidity down there. Like it was absolutely miserable down in DC. So I'll take this. This isn't too bad. We got a nice breeze today. Had the windows open and you just feel the wind come in. It felt so nice at home. Cleveland sure has changed. Yeah, lots of changes coming. With the modernization project, just kicked off the new parking garage or the new parking lot this week with the gold lot. So looking forward to that coming, but the airport definitely needs it for sure. I saw the Dreamliner divert. I wasn't here though for it. I was down in DC when that happened. But still cool to see that. I saw some people got some really neat pictures and video of that. So would love to see one of those at some point up here. It's been a little while since I've seen a 787 here in Cleveland. But lots of weather on the East Coast. I was actually wondering if my flight was going to get out on a Saturday night down at Dulles because we actually pushed back and then they made us wait for a while with some of the weather down there, and there was a lot of flights diverting, but luckily we were able to get out of there. I know we pushed back and so we pushed back and we kind of waited. They took us over to one of the pads and they just looking around and saw all these heavies just everywhere from the weather in New York. And so we went over there and we sat for probably a half hour or so, and they came on and said that the routing that they give us back to Cleveland, the weather was closing up and they have to get a new route. I'm just sitting there going, oh my goodness, I'm going to end up spending the night down here. And which I guess I would have been okay with. I probably would have just, stayed most of the day down there on Sunday and just did as much plane spotting as I could down at Dulles. But when I was sitting there, the Alaska Star Wars delivery diverted in, which is kind of one of those airplanes that I have seen it before, but it pops up and then it drops here all the time. And so I saw it land and turn off when I was on the airplane, but yeah, lots of weather on the East Coast. And I know even when we landed, I landed at probably about 1 o'clock in the morning when we landed here Sunday morning. And there were a number of gates that had people sitting in them on the United side trying to get to Newark. And I don't know if they ever got there or not with all the delays and cancellations, but lots of weather on the East Coast for sure. Southwest holding short for, I believe it was Midway, if I remember right. Yep, 1163 to Chicago. Guardians are playing the Twins tonight. Missed the ATA 727s, L1011s, and 757s. The Sun Country DC-10. Yeah, I definitely missed a lot seeing all that stuff as well. I actually saw the Sun Country Retro at down in Dulles, and it was just really cool to see that livery. Aviation in general has changed so much. It's definitely a shame not to see some of those aircraft anymore. Southwest got their clearance for Chicago. I remember growing up, you know, we'd come up to the car show and you would see the Continental heavies that were coming in, and 727s and the MDs and like the classic 737s and everything like that, and now they're all pretty much gone. Up here one time when a Continental 747 took off, we were at the car show. I was like, oh my goodness. About probably at least 30 years ago now. The Southwest heading out. Pretty quiet night so far up here. Should see the end of Concourse D here soon, as the Gold Lot project is now underway. Also, if you drive along 237, you can see where they've torn down most of the old cargo buildings along the side of the road as the new airport project goes on. Which cleans up some pretty big eyesores on that side of the airport for sure. There must be some weather or something in Newark, because I see, or something going on, because I see the United Express E-175 Charlotte to Newark is flying over us before we return. Then we have an aircraft diverting. Yeah, there's some stuff circling, so I'm not sure what's going on up there. But yeah, there's a number of aircraft circling, trying to go into Newark. So don't know if we'll see anything tonight, but we'll keep an eye on things. Frontier 2698 over the lake, about 10 minutes out. Then we have our diversion, United 1560, the MAX 8 that was heading to Newark, that is diverting in. And possibly maybe due to weather or something going on, because I see Pittsburgh is getting a Delta A321 now. So definitely got something going on out there. Taking a look at our heavies that are due in tonight. The two national A330s, don't see where either one has taken off yet. So I don't know if we're going to see them tonight. But keep your fingers crossed. One was due at about 5:30, the other was due at about 7:30. So keep your fingers crossed that those take off here soon. The Dreamliner was a weather diversion. So weather on the East Coast. I forget if it was going to Newark. I think it was going to Newark. But we had some weather on the East Coast, and they had to divert in and spend the night due to that. I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping that they was gonna go to Dulles, because they're gonna try to change my flight and take the Dreamliner, but so ground stop at Newark causing the issues, so we'll keep an eye on some stuff. Sounds like another hour on the ground stop, so we might see some more aircraft out here. But yeah, they were a weather diversion. KLM 612 is over Quebec. Used to listen to the centers and remember KLM 612 in Chicago Chicago O'Hare is my favorite airport. Was there last month. Great spot in Rosemont atop the 1P lot. I gotta get back to Chicago. It's been a couple of years since I've been out there. Gotta find a day to get back out there. That airport is a lot of fun. I got an extra flight credit because of the DC trip, so maybe we'll take a look at maybe Chicago. You get a year to use it, so we'll see how things go. C-Fry says we got an inbound flight diversion to Cleveland. Brandon's asking, why was Allegiant coming in? That is a good question. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping you might know. A lot of odd aircraft popped up today. We got the Allegiant, we got a Delta 757 tomorrow to Las Vegas. The 2 national A330s that are supposed to be coming in tonight. So I'm assuming some sort of maybe a military charter. I don't know if anything sports related this weekend. The Guardians are out of town, so nothing to do with that. So not really sure. Robert says, looking like the air show is coming to an end. God, I hope not. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, we'll see. Haven't heard any updates on Burke, at least since April. So we'll see what goes on with that. But definitely would recommend getting your tickets this year and going to the Cleveland Air Show. You'll see the Blue Angels and the F-22. I'm looking forward to being out there all 3 days probably, and then a couple of days before. So I'll probably get there on, I see one of the airplanes circling actually for Newark. But I'll probably get out there on Thursday for the Blue Angels when they arrive, and then everything else that arrives on Thursday, we'll go out there for that. And then Friday we'll be downtown. But I want to keep an eye on stuff here because the F-22 should come here. So we'll see. Try to keep an eye on as much of that stuff as we can, but I know the plan is to go downtown Thursday and Friday for practice and arrival day. I got tickets for Sunday, I think. I think Sunday's the day I got tickets to go inside, but I'll probably go inside 2 days like I did last year. We'll do a video day and a photography day. And then usually the third day I'm down here. So we'll try to get anything that's taken off here. The KC-46, the F-22 should be here. So we'll try to catch those as they go in and out here. And then Tuesday, go back downtown and get the departures. Blue Angels will leave after the show on Monday, so try to catch them when they leave.
I got 2320 for a current.
Brandon says I was off today, so I'm not sure. You're not allowed to have a day off. You got to work. You got to work so we know these things. Just kidding, just kidding. Brandon works for one of the operators here. Works on some planes. Looks like Frontier will get here first. Then we'll have United, and we'll have the FedEx Heavy, Flight 361 Heavy out of Memphis, about 7 minutes out.
2698 traffic, you're following to your 11 o'clock at 6 miles, turning northeastbound, following 737.
Lots of aircraft that are circling, trying to go into Newark. So we might see a diversion tonight, other than the one that we know is coming in. Got some weather, it looks like down by the DC area as well. Now United's going to get here first. The 737 MAX is diverting in, flight 1560. They're going to get here first, about 3 minutes out for the diversion. American Eagle 4057, you might have seen cross in front of the screen back there. They are heading to Miami. And then Delta 1449 is also taxiing out for Minneapolis. Need a co-host to watch radar for me.
You want a 3-6 time or a 3-2 time? 3-2 is yours. Gate 62, Roger. You're going to end up with a delay. Not too bad, 5-6.
Yeah, they put Newark into a ground stop though. So not sure what's going on there, but several aircraft in the Newark area are diverting. See, a Delta A321 is going to Pittsburgh. So not sure what's going on out there tonight. If a 757 diverts in, though, I think that's 5 days in a row. So we'll see what happens tonight. And again, keep your fingers crossed for the 2 national A330s. But the later into the evening we get, the less confident that I am that those are actually going to come in today. But they're still on there, so I guess we'll find out. Oh, there they are. Here's the diversion. 737 MAX, I believe, was out of San Juan, if I remember right. It sounds like they're going to go over and sit on the pad. Here's the American Eagle E175 that's heading to Miami. I got the Delta A220 taxiing behind them to Minneapolis. Should have the Frontier inbound. Got a really pretty yellow Corvette driving by. Meanwhile, Frontier inbound from Phoenix, Arizona, Airbus A320neo. FedEx 767 is inbound on, I think it was Sunday. We had the America 250 livery for FedEx come in. I was really hoping to get up here to see that. Had some stuff going on at home and wasn't able to make it, but have to try to catch that one at some point soon. American 4057 heading to Miami. Trying to keep an eye on my right to make sure we don't miss the FedEx. So as American Eagle heads out, FedEx 361 Heavy, 767-300 inbound from Memphis.
Plan of way 6 right, Delta 1449.
So as the FedEx Heavy rolls out, Delta 1449, Airbus A220 is taking runway 6 right, heading back to Minneapolis. Now listen for the whale noises.
Let's take 6 right, Delta 1449.
The whale noises are definitely the loudest part of the A220s. I know we kind of talked about this in the past. Last year I stayed at the TWA Hotel in New York's JFK. I had a runway view, and really you didn't hear the runway, and you didn't really hear the airplanes, except for when the A220 started up, and man, you could hear those. FedEx crossing the runway, gonna head over to South Cargo for their ramp. For their evening departure tonight. Have another diversion coming in, flight 5461, Delta Connection CRJ divert again. So something's definitely up on the East Coast tonight. Not really sure what's going on, but we'll definitely keep an eye on things and keep your fingers crossed. Maybe something really cool will come in. You never know. We're due to have one come in on a live stream. I know we've been close a couple of times. We're definitely due for something to come in during a live stream, so keep your fingers crossed. I guess we'll see what happens tonight. Definitely hear what sounds like an eagle somewhere. We're keeping our eyes out looking for it. Making sure I add a couple of things here. Okay, we're good to go there. Sorry about that. I had to put the, usually the description notes go in automatically, but they didn't pop up this time and I had to put those in. So apologize for the little delay there. American 737 taking the runway now. And we'll get to the comments, back to the comments here in a second. I believe this was American 1479, I think it was, to Charlotte. But it might be the Dallas flight. I really forgot to look. I apologize. I'll catch it here in a second for you. $737-800 for American Airlines. Flight 1679 are heading to Charlotte.
Roger, American 1679, we'll see now.
So we'll go ahead and go back to the comments. The flight that's diverting in, Delta Connection 5461, Jacksonville to LaGuardia. And as I pull up Flight Radar 24, I definitely see a lot of stuff circling for New York. Would love if that MD-11 were to come in. FedEx MD-11 Memphis to Newark probably wouldn't come in, but that would be pretty amazing if it did. I don't see a lot of FedEx diversions. We do get UPS every once in a while, but that would be pretty cool if that were to come in. I don't see a lot of aircraft circling though. I see a JetBlue, but other than that, I don't really see too much that's actually circling, so we'll keep an eye on it though. Next inbound flight, Delta 1339, 737-900 out of Atlanta. It's about 15 minutes out. Delta 650 or American 650 out of LAX is a half hour out. Frontier 1492 out of Tampa is 45 minutes out. Southwest 4153 out of Chicago Midway is 25 minutes out. Envoy 3466 out of Chicago O'Hare is 30 minutes out. Southwest 30 out of Las Vegas is 35 minutes out. American United 1611 out of Newark, 45 minutes out for that one. Looking overhead, we have a KC-135 at 32,000 feet. Should be passing over just north of us. We'll keep an eye on that to see maybe if it's dragging. 32,000 feet, probably not dragging anything, but we'll keep an eye on it as that aircraft gets a little closer. The E4, I wonder if it's going over to Dayton. It's south of Pittsburgh now. Actually pretty far south of Pittsburgh, but heading west. Looks like it might pass over Columbus. So we'll keep an eye on that. My guess is it's probably going to Dayton. Griff 01 for the E4. Someday. someday we're going to see the E4. I really thought we'd see it in DC, but they didn't include the E4 in any of the flyovers. United 1084 is taxiing out for Chicago, Airbus A320. And then a couple of CRJs on the American Eagle side. Flight 9959 must be a repositioning flight. CRJ 700 heading to Baton Rouge. And then a ERJ 145, flight 5862 heading to Philly. Hopefully we have some good news as far as our heavies are concerned. Nope. Both of the nationals now are showing closer to 10 o'clock. And neither one have moved yet, so. Not feeling optimistic that we're gonna see the two heavies tonight, but we'll find out. Robert's asking if Burke Lakefront closes, Hopkins, Cuyahoga County, Lake County, Executive Airport all handle the traffic. And yeah, more than likely, Burke statistically only has about half of the flights that it did in 2000. So, and a lot of the flights have actually already come here anyways with the closure of the hub and everything like that. So, I'm sure they'll be moving some stuff around. But we'll see what happens up there. I know I've kind of said it in the past, as far as like if that airport closes, I think that there are ways to make money there. If they really wanted to make money there, I think they could make it work. But if they want to close it, they really need to have concrete plans. If you look in the background, as United taxis out, we have what used to be the world's largest convention center. And it is totally empty right now. So the IX Center closed in March. And they had all these grand plans of putting manufacturing and everything in there. And here we are in July and nothing has happened there yet. And some of the vendors that hosted shows there have been trying to talk with the city, talking with the Haslam group that's building the stadium, just trying to find ways that they can still use that building for the 3 more years until the stadium is open. The city still has all these plans for what they're going to do with it, but right now that building is sitting empty. So should be a pretty good, to me, that's a warning sign for everyone involved that if you're going to close Burke, close it with a plan. Don't just let that huge plot of land sit empty on the lakefront for 30 years until we figure out something to do with it. But we'll see what happens. United heading to Chicago. Someone must be calling me. But yeah, we'll see if it closes. We haven't heard anything. They had some public meetings in April, and I think that was the last time that anything came out about Burke. So we'll see what the future holds there. But definitely try to get to the air show this year if you can. I don't think this year will be the last one regardless. I think that they were talking about how they want to close it by the end of Bibb's term, which would be around 2029. So I think that we still have at least a year or two left, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Forgot there's a KC-135 up there. I think I missed it. Try to see if I find it. Hold on one second.
1084, 2.5, climbing to 14,000, 55.
Try to see if I can pick it up in the haze, but so far I don't see it. I don't think at that height that it would have anything with it, but just trying to see if maybe I see something up there being drugged by the KC-135. I don't see anything. Here's the American Eagle CRJ heading to Baton Rouge. Kind of an unusual routing for this this flight. Must be a repositioning flight for American Eagle. CRJ 700 operated by PSA Airlines. I do hope that if they close the airport, they at least let us know and let us have one more Cleveland Air Show before it happens that we know is going to be the last one, and I hope that they go all out if that were to happen.
57, Roger, your wheels up.
Get as much as you can, military and civilian operators, and let's have one heck of a party to close things out if that does end up being the case. Again, we'll see what happens. Personally, though, I think that air show needs a bit of a jolt. I think that it's kind of gotten pretty stale with the acts that it's had the last few years. It had pretty much the same show every year. And would love to see them kind of spice things up a little bit. Got to wonder if maybe a twilight show would be neat up along the lake. But I don't know, I just think we need to spice it up, get some new acts up there. And definitely need to do a better job from a static standpoint, though. Last year, the static lineup was pretty sad, so hopefully this show will be better once they start announcing the ground performers, the ground statics. But Dayton and Columbus both, I feel like, have had superior shows the last few years, so we'll see what happens as we get closer. The Cleveland show this year, I thought was the pricing, I feel like, definitely went up this year when I bought my tickets. So hopefully, if it's more expensive, that means that there'll be a little bit more going on. I think by the time I paid for my ticket and parking, it was close to $100 this year, which I know we complain about Columbus being expensive, but man. Here's the PSA ERJ 145 heading to Philly. Charles here says, love your videos, keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much, I appreciate it. C-130 flying around Warren tonight. Probably some exercises. HT 1976 says, yesterday Boston Logan's fuel delivery broke down, and today they're getting socked with weather. I did hear about the fuel delivery. That would be rough. Yeah, lots of weather on the coast the last few days. Brandon's asking, am I an aviator or a BK? And I'm at neither today. I'm over on the side of the road here today. Twilight would definitely be awesome at Burke. Columbus Twilight was amazing. Yes, it was. I hope they bring that back. So I got a survey in my email, and I'm assuming that most, if not everyone who bought tickets to that show probably got a survey. And one of the questions was about the Twilight show, and I said I really hope that continues, especially at that airport. If you've been to the day show, it's really backlit and really top lit. Now, I don't really care as much about that as I know some of my friends that are kind of more into the photography side of things do. But I will say the lighting for the Columbus Air Show in the evening was incredible. And I've been to that airport a few times in the evening to watch airplanes, and it definitely is an absolutely beautiful place to be in the evening. And so I hope the Twilight show continues. Plus, it was nice to, I didn't have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was nice to actually be able to eat lunch and then drive down and enjoy the evening and then make the trip down there. I believe this is the diversion, the Delta Connection flight to LaGuardia that's diverting in. Second diversion of the evening for us here in Cleveland. Due to whatever's going on the East Coast. But I had a great time there. I didn't taking pictures of the statics and in the twilight. It's just really, really cool. So I hope that's something that they continue in the future. I was hoping the Thunderbirds would have flown a little later than what they did, but I was hoping they'd fly around 7. But I really enjoyed that show. Really enjoyed Columbus. Did not enjoy Dayton at all. I mean, Dayton had a very solid flying lineup. Certainly didn't end up being what everyone was hoping, but really didn't enjoy Dayton at all this year. I thought from a traffic, getting in and out was really bad, which is it's always bad at that show, but it was really bad this year. And then the giant tents that they put up right at show center was just kind of ridiculous, really. So it was really hard to, unless you paid for the expensive seating, you weren't getting the photos and videos of them really crossing and that sort of thing. And so really didn't enjoy Dayton at all this year. DC was a special circumstance, so I knew the sight lines and everything weren't going to be the best there. It's a shame it was so hot, because if it were cooler, I would have been able to move around. I only was able to go for 1 day, and so I had to stay by the metro stops. And so I just kind of picked the Smithsonian just because it was kind of more in line with where else I was going to go, and I thought I could use the museums as a place to go inside and cool off, and which worked out really well for that, because during the day it was miserable. But I do wish I was on the other side, maybe by the Jefferson. I think that's where people were getting better, just kind of some better photos and video and whatnot. But DC I knew would be a special circumstance, but really enjoyed Columbus this year. That was probably my favorite show so far. But we got a few more left, of course. We got Lorain this weekend. We got Thunder over Michigan next weekend. We got Cleveland. And then we're going to try to either do Wings over Houston or the new show they just announced at Kennedy Space Center in November. So debating about which of those two shows I might try to go to. I'm thinking Kennedy, just because it's at Kennedy Space Center and it's an amazing place to go, and they'll probably have F-104s. But Houston has a good chance of having the NASA stuff that'll be there, like the WB-57. And I saw they announced the 777 will be doing a demo. At Wings over Houston, so not really sure, haven't decided which one, but we'll kind of see how things go as we get closer. Don't think I'll have the money to do both, but we'll see how things go. Yeah, not sure what's going on with our heavies tonight, that they keep getting pushed back more and more. E4 is at 34,000 feet, getting close to Columbus. Probably not going into Dayton if you're still at that height, but if you're in the Columbus area, look up. You'll see the E4 night watch here in a few minutes, it looks like. Got some more aircraft circling. I see a United 737 just to the west of us that's circling for a Newark. A Delta A220 Houston to LaGuardia is diverting to Detroit. So definitely got some stuff up there circling around, mostly narrow bodies. I don't see any heavy circling. But we'll see if anything were to come in. Southwest 4153 over the lake, about 12 minutes out, 737 out of Midway. American 650 out of Los Angeles, the 737 is about 15 minutes out. So we got a few aircraft inbound tonight. Delta Connection 4957 taxiing out for departure, CRJ heading over to Detroit. Yeah, but I agree. Twilight at Burke might be cool. I've been there in the evening though. Like I went for departure day a couple of years ago, and I don't remember the lighting being like fantastic, but still it'd be neat to see it. I don't know. I like night air shows. I think night air shows are a lot of fun with the fireworks and everything. Got J-Ro here today. Boney says it was really cool to see the MD-11 on static in Columbus. Yeah, that was really neat. I don't think that MD-11 has flown in a long time, but it was neat to see it up close. Joe is here from Toronto. Hope you're doing well today. Glenn says New York looks clear. Boston has the storms. I wonder what's going on up there. There's definitely a lot of flights that are diverting, so not sure what's going on in the New York airspace. Sometimes I think someone can sneeze and it causes a bunch of diversions, but definitely something up that way since we've had a Newark and a LaGuardia diversion already today. Darlene is here today. Hope you're doing well. And Carrie's asking, can you give a shout out to my nephew Ben? He loves planes and is watching now from Cranberry, Pennsylvania. I can certainly do that. Hope you're doing well, Ben. Hope you're enjoying the stream and keep chasing your dreams. Hope to see you in the air someday. Definitely met a few people over the years that are pilots. A friend of mine is a pilot with Frontier now. It is definitely possible to get there. Sorry about that. I feel like my tripod is really loose tonight, which it really shouldn't be, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it's on the tightest setting, but it just feels really loose on pan for me, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Fluid head tripod though, for sure. But yeah, definitely disappointed about the two national A330s. I don't think we're going to get them tonight, unfortunately. They are showing, both of them are showing after 10 o'clock now. They were due, first one was due here around 5, the second one was due here around 7:30. One out of El Paso, one out of Kansas City. But I'm becoming less and less optimistic that we're going to see either one of them tonight. If they pop up tomorrow, we'll try again tomorrow. A lot of bikes up here tonight. I was gonna say I appreciate the fact that he's riding respectfully and not doing that, but guess they gotta hear what they sound like sometimes, right? Anyways, Delta Connection heading to Detroit. Not sure where the United diversion went. I don't see it on the pad. Unless I just can't see it based on like the hill structure over there, but I'm not sure where they went. Southwest 4694 getting ready to push back for Nashville. We have Frontier 1821 for Las Vegas, so it looks like Aer Lingus is live as well, heading back to Dublin. Southwest about to turn final out of Midway. It looks like if you're down in the, well, maybe not. I thought the C-130 might be heading over to Akron, Canton. They've been doing a lot of touch and goes over there lately, but doesn't look like it might head over that way. It might come in on the 2-3s. The E4 is passing over Columbus now, still at 34,000 feet, so I don't think it's going to Dayton, but if you're in the area, take a look up. You'll see an E4 passing just to the southeast side of Columbus now. Kind of going right between CMH and Rickenbacker if you're down that way. A little later on tonight as well, at about 9:50 tonight, the American TWA Retro is coming in from Dallas. Wonder what gate they're going to. Charlie 9, darn. Let's say if it went to Charlie 4, I might go over and try to get it because it'd be a pretty neat picture. But anyways. United Express 3433, I see taxiing in the shot there, heading to Washington Dulles. Joe says Raleigh-Durham was experiencing heavy rain earlier today. Hope it's cooled down for him a little bit. No, the whole East Coast was baking over the weekend. We were over 100 degrees in DC. I'm sure that Raleigh was probably even less fun. So hopefully it's cooled down a little bit for him. Brandon says I worked on that CRJ. It's an old express jet bird. November 606 Lima Romeo. Gino is here, says thanks for the stream. Well, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We are a little farther away today. We're over on one of the hills on the side of the road on the western side of the airport. Usually I go over, there's some mounds on the other side. It's usually where I go on a night like tonight when we have operations on the 6s. But it gets really backlit in the evening, and I was trying to get the two National A330s that we're due in today, but don't know if we're gonna get them, unfortunately. When I drove by, I didn't see any air stairs over by the pad either, so I'm not sure if they're actually going to be coming in. But you see a lot of construction going on over there. They're tearing down the old freight buildings that are over there. We got the work going on the new parking lot that's going to go around where Concourse D is, the old Concourse Delta, the old Continental Express concourse over there that's being demolished. So lots of construction projects going on, so you can see some of the stuff in the background. Behind the United Express is Aer Lingus, the 321 taxiing out for Dublin. So as United Express holds short, we got an inbound flight. I think it's the Southwest out of Chicago. Southwest 737. I saw a K2 Airways 737 400 crashed this afternoon. I've gone back to, since that occurred not long before I got up here. I was still working when it happened. I haven't gotten any updates on it, but I know it didn't look very good looking at the Flight Radar 24 data on it. American 650 short final from LAX 737, followed by Envoy 3466 out of Chicago O'Hare. Another Southwest Flight 30 out of LAX. Oh, sorry, out of Las Vegas. I apologize. Out of Las Vegas.
Clear takeoff right here, 3433.
United Express cleared for takeoff. They are heading to Washington Dulles. Did something I have never done before on my flight adventures. When I landed in DC the other day, I was on a United Express E175 and we got off outside and had to walk to the terminal. So, new experience for me. I know it's not an unheard of experience, but had to get off the airplane on the ramp to go to the terminal, which is pretty neat, except for the fact it was 103 degrees, but it was still pretty neat to do that. So we were on that side of the airport. And then when I flew out, I didn't get to use the people movers from my flight just because I went through security, got on the train to my concourse, and my gate was right there. So I didn't get the Dulles experience this time of using the people movers. Maybe next time, the mobile lounges. So maybe next time. Try to get down there later on this year. American 650 touching down from Los Angeles. Meanwhile, on the other runway, Aer Lingus is lining up. They'll be heading back to Dublin. There's the Shamrock 321 Neo tonight. Or is it an XLR? Nope, it's a Neo. About a 7.5 hour flight back over to Dublin. American Eagle E175 on final. We'll follow Aer Lingus here. Let's say if someone was over at Aviator tonight with their camera, they're gonna get some really nice photos of the aircraft as they depart with the lighting, and the ones that turn left, especially getting those really nice bank shots over there tonight. Aer Lingus heads out. American Eagle inbound from O'Hare. Looks like the Nashville-bound Southwest should be getting ready to push back here pretty soon. We got another Southwest inbound, flight 30 out of Las Vegas. Only a couple of minutes out. Guardians are up 1-0 over the Twins right now. We have Frontier 1492 as well out of Tampa, about 20 minutes out for that aircraft. Couple of Vaders, the C-130s out of Youngstown tonight. There's one heading our way. I wish it would come in and do a touch and go here, but it's pretty unusual for them to do that. But it'd be nice if they did it tonight. So an unfortunate update for those of you that are going to go to Oshkosh. It just came out. NASA released a statement saying the Super Guppy was damaged in some severe weather and will not make the trip to Oshkosh. Hopefully the damage isn't too bad on that aircraft, because that is a really neat aircraft, really interesting aircraft if you haven't seen the Super Guppy. So hopefully it wasn't too badly damaged, and hopefully no one got some severe property damage down there.
Air Uniform Sugar Hood, Roger 6 Romeo, current. Have a backup plan for the Alice people right like front as well. Like AirNav shuts down Cuyahoga County. If I get planes over there, I wouldn't be able to communicate. 611, airport off the right lane, 5 miles.
Southwest Flight 30 on final from Las Vegas, 737. Behind that will be United 1611 out of Newark, another 737. And we have a Challenger following them. And then FedEx, or Frontier. Don't see anything else really circling for New York, so they must have figured out their problems down there. But we'll keep an eye on that as we go. And then taking a look at our two national A330s that are due in. And looks like no news there. Both of them are showing scheduled. And both of them are showing an ETA around 10 o'clock. And that's if they get off the ground right now. So we'll see what happens with the two A330s. Maybe we'll see them tomorrow if we don't see them tonight. If they do come in tomorrow, we'll do another live stream tomorrow night. Probably do another live stream tomorrow night anyways. Pretty easy. Should be a pretty easy, well, I don't want to jinx it too bad, but should be a decent day at work tomorrow. A decent schedule with everything going on, the way things are lined up now. So as long as things go according to plan, which means I probably just jinxed it, should be able to come up tomorrow night and do another live stream. Here's Southwest out of Las Vegas. I just jinxed them with the work way over tomorrow, aren't I? But as of now, I don't have anything crazy on my schedule that I have to do after work tomorrow, so hopefully we'll be able to come up here tomorrow night. I'm going to butcher this, and I apologize. Natai B, thank you so much for being here. Mooney24K is here. Yo, long time no see. Will you be at the Mansfield Air Show this weekend? I hope to try to make the trip down, probably on Sunday, since I'll probably go to Lorraine on Saturday for their event. And then try to get to Mansfield to see the B-29 on Sunday, I believe, is probably how we're going to do it. Obviously, the wife can change that in an instant, but I know that's kind of the plan for now, is to go to Lorraine on Saturday and then go to Mansfield on Sunday. Both are really neat if you're in the area. Mansfield with the B-29, and then Lorraine has a really cool fly-in. They have car show, food trucks, all kinds of stuff like that on Saturday. So hope to be at both, and should see, if things go well, we should see the C-54, which is a pretty rare airplane to see one of those still at Lorraine. And the Pink Jet should be there. A bunch of other Warbirds should be there. And then a few Warbirds in Mansfield as well. So my plan is to try to get to both of them. And the next weekend, go to Thunder over Michigan and see the Red Arrows and the F4, hopefully. They said the F4 will be there, so we'll see how things go. Chris is here, says, what's up? How you doing? Doing well myself. Well, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. I've just been busy lately. We've been doing all right. We've had a lot going on. We've had a lot of family in town. We've had stuff going on with work. We had the air shows with Dayton, Columbus, and Washington, D.C. So we've just had a lot going on the last few weeks. So, but things are going pretty well, and I'm glad to hear that things are going well with you. Saying expected to depart in 10 minutes now for the A330 out of Kansas. I guess we'll have to find out. United 1611 inbound from Newark. And as we get into August, we'll start talking Pro Football Hall of Fame charters. I don't think they've announced the teams that are playing yet, but we should see those charters, and we'll start the NFL preseason. So it means we'll start seeing heavy jets here just about every week as we get into NFL season. Southwest is slacking a little bit tonight. Usually when one airplane is pulling into the gate, another one is heading out. But I haven't seen one heading out yet. Their flight to Nashville should be pushing back here soon. Twins are up 2-1 now over the Guardians. Get a Challenger 605 inbound. It's like one of SkyQuest aircraft. And we'll have Frontier 1492 inbound from Tampa. Got a C-17 flying overhead. Sounds like they're doing more strikes in Iran today, so guess it's time to be back on spicy Dorito watch, since they sometimes will pass over Ohio when they're going to and from. Usually when they're going out, it's at night, and then if you do see them, it's the next day. Well, I know we've definitely seen them over here before. So I guess we'll have to watch the skies and see if we see any B-2s again. Speaking of B-2s, make sure you check out the DC video that I posted. It wasn't very long. I didn't get a lot from where I was. And pretty much everything only did one flyby. The Thunderbirds actually did most of their full high show, which really blew my mind. I was not expecting to see that. The Blue Angels only did a couple of passes. But other than that, pretty much everything only did the one pass, and a lot of them actually turned about the time they got to the monument, so they didn't come all the way down the National Mall, which was a little disappointing. So I know that video is kind of short, since pretty much everything only did the one pass, but make sure you check it out. Got to see some really cool stuff out there. The old VC-25, the bridge aircraft we got to see, the bomber triad we got to see, a lot of fighters. So got to see a lot of cool stuff, so make sure you guys check out that video, give it a like, and make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you so much for all of your support. We've been down a little bit lately with the algorithm, so definitely could use all of your help to try to push the channel up ahead over the next few weeks. Here's United going to their gate. But I seem to be struggling a little bit with views, and so I got some stuff I got to work on my end, of course, but definitely hit that like button, share with all of your friends, and check out the DC videos, check out the Columbus and Dayton videos as well. I think the Columbus videos came out pretty well. Had a lot of fun in Columbus with the Snowbirds, the Thunderbirds. So check out some of the airshow videos if you haven't done so already. Frontier 1492 on final from Tampa. A little farther out, United 2652 737 out of Chicago. Delta Connection 5242 out of LaGuardia. About 20 minutes out for those aircraft. American Eagle 4713 out of LaGuardia is about a half hour out. Not a lot of inbound flights today, kind of a slower day for our inbounds. The TWA Retro 1 hour 33 minutes out from DFW. And it's leaving at 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So I was hoping that we might get to see that tonight, but doesn't look like it's going to happen for our two A330s, unfortunately. Southwest heading to Nashville. And then the United 737 in the background. Might have been the one that diverted in. 737 MAX, flight 4694 heading to Nashville. And some beautiful lighting right now. Looks like in the background, I can't tell if that's a FlexJet heading out or if that is the Challenger to just land. I think it's the Challenger to just landed, taxiing over towards Atlantic. Haven't had a lot of business jets tonight. So as Southwest taxis out, Frontier is inbound from Tampa, Airbus A321. Flight 1492. Looks like Southwest has their clearance. They're rolling on 6 right for Nashville. Trying to catch the tail number on it since we're into the 9,000s for Southwest. If you see the numbers start with a 9, there's some of the new aircraft. Southwest heading out. United is taxiing over for departure now, so it looks like a 737 MAX.
Southwest 4694, good day.
Gonna pull back a little bit. We'll take a look at the flight. That's flight 1560 heading to Newark. I think that might have been the aircraft that diverted. United 2652 about to turn final. Chris said, I'm so mad USA lost yesterday to Belgium. They didn't just lose to Belgium, they looked absolutely terrible in that game yesterday. He had the one goal where the goalie came out, they just went right by him, and boy, they looked awful in that game. I mean, I didn't expect Team USA to win that game, but they could have at least good try. What they only get, like 3 shots in that game? That was definitely a rough game to watch. We turned it off and turned a movie on about 3/4 of the way through. When it went down, when it was 3-1, we turned it off, but really curious to see who's going to win. I saw Argentina came back. They were down 2-0 against Egypt, and they came back to win today, so we'll see who ends up winning. France and Morocco, I think, are tomorrow. So definitely going to be interesting to see who ends up winning the World Cup here in a couple of weeks. So in other sports news, the IOC reinstated Russia. So the Russian Olympic team will not be banned in the Olympics in 2028. Which didn't sit very well with a lot of people for a lot of reasons, of course. Still think back to the figure skater a couple of years ago, who had all that. The one girl was supposed to win everything, and she fell a couple of times and ended up not getting a medal, and just that really kind of really sad situation where you had her teammate ended up winning, and no one went over to her because they're all trying to console the other girl. And it was just really sad. If you remember that story from the Olympics a couple of years ago. And lots of politics and everything in the international stages, unfortunately. At the MLB All-Star break, I think, next week as well. One United heading out. I see another United taxiing out for departure. Robert says, please don't talk about football. You talk about the end of summer. Agreed. Fair enough. I love summer. Normally, I would be excited about getting to fall and getting the hockey season, but I think the Jackets have given me enough ulcers, so I'm ready to take a little break. Been a absolutely pathetic off season for the Blue Jackets. But hey, maybe we'll get some good flyovers this year. Got the C5 last year. That was pretty neat. Twim Wasley's asking, when will you be back at CMH for a live stream? That's a good question. I gotta get back down there. I went to CMH for about 5 minutes on the way to the air show because the Stars and Bars livery was down there for United. And I missed it landing because I got stuck in traffic, but I got it taxiing by. But I haven't been, and I went to CMH for the, what we thought was gonna be Air Force 2, it ended up being the Jana 2 757 that came in for the FBI. But it's been a little bit since I've been down to Columbus, so hopefully soon. I kind of have a rule for Columbus that it has to have at least either one once-in-a-lifetime aircraft that I'll probably never see again, or at least 2 special liveries. And I also got to have the time and the money to drive down, and we really haven't had that lately. There's been a ton of stuff going on as well with just life. But I do feel like I owe that airport a good video. So hopefully hopefully soon we'll get a lot of traffic down there, and we'll be able to go down and do a stream. Hydrospace, love that name, is here. Says, hello, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well here today. Chris says, within the next 5 years, Cleveland's going to be called Chaos Cleveland since the building of the Brown Stadium and the new airport. Yeah, and you also got the highway project that they're talking about along the lakefront, and it's going to be a mess for sure. I am looking forward to the new airport. The stadium depends on what they get. If building a new stadium brings in some huge like marquee events like a Super Bowl or some major concerts or something like that, then that'll be worth it. Or maybe a halfway decent football team for once. But since it's Cleveland, we're gonna get something like the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Indianapolis Colts, the Detroit Lions, or something like that in the Super Bowl if we ever host. But if we get some big events like that brings in some traffic, that definitely would be cool. But I'm looking forward to the new airport for sure. We need it. At the very least, I wish they'd update our TSA because, you know, you go to a lot of, like, every airport is different. Like some airports, some airports you can pretty much just keep everything on you and walk through security, and they throw your bags on a conveyor belt and you don't have to take anything out of your bags, and it's pretty easy. Other airports, you got to basically get naked to walk through security and take everything out of your bags. And Cleveland is definitely one of those airports where you got to take your belt off and, you know, your shoes off and open your bags and all that sometimes. And it's just, I wish we'd update our TSA so maybe we wouldn't have to deal with all that. But we'll see what happens in the future, I guess. Got a high-speed chase going on in Stowe. Yikes. United 2652 turning final from Chicago, 737. We also have Delta Connection 5242 inbound from LaGuardia. Guess we'll take one last look at our heavies that were supposed to be coming in. The one out of El Paso, which is supposed to have been the white livery, still just shows the schedule has not taken off, nothing going on with that one. The other one out of Kansas City, the A330-300, now shows in flight 9:58 arrival time for that. So it'll probably be too dark for the live stream, but at least I'm glad to see that it's finally airborne. So at least the 330-300 is airborne. But again, showing about a 10 o'clock arrival time tonight. Jason said, I flew out of Hopkins last month. I didn't have to take my shoes off. I was also able to keep my laptop and iPad in the bag. Well, that is definitely good. When I flew out on Saturday, I didn't have to take anything out of my bag, but I had to take my shoes and my belt off. So it's different every time. But other airports, you just kind of walk right through and it's pretty easy, so. But it was nice, at least they got the central checkpoint opened up again, because there for a while, everyone going through on the side over by United, you can get some really, really crazy lines in the morning. And yes, security is important, I'm not saying it's not, but I just wish it was more consistent across the board. I also did something when I flew out on Saturday, maybe just because I was going to DC and everything going on in DC, but they actually made us, well, we went through the bridge to get onto the airplane and we scanned our boarding passes. TSA was actually over there checking everyone's IDs again, so I thought that was interesting. So I don't really know that much about how TSA does their operations and whatnot. Like I have, I guess, a basic knowledge of how everything works, but so maybe it was just a routine random check by TSA, but I thought that was interesting that they were checking our IDs as we were getting on the plane on Saturday. And down at Dulles, it was kind of, TSA was just kind of normal. So not sure what, if it was just like a standard check or what that was, but I thought that was unusual. Down in Stowe, by the way, Silver Town and Country on a high-speed chase. So I guess we'll keep an eye on that. One of the C-130s is at 975 feet near the Lake County Airport. Hopefully it keeps following the shore. Maybe it'll come up this way. If it does come in, it'll probably go to Burke, but we need to see one of the C-130s come over our way. Don't see anything else from a military standpoint anywhere near us tonight. Our next inbound flight, Delta Connection 5242 out of LaGuardia, about a minute out. Vader 1 is probably going to do a touch and go over at Lake County, but I wish he'd come all the way down. American Eagle 4713 out of LaGuardia is about 20 minutes out. Up, he rolled it. So he wrecked his car. Sounds like he got out and is fleeing again on foot. So interesting night for the State Highway Patrol tonight. Hopefully they catch him and everyone is okay. When I flew out of Dulles, coming back home the other day, don't know what this guy was thinking, but there was a store near my gate, one of the airport stores, and this guy was like threatening the girl that was running it, and she ended up calling security. This was at like midnight, well, probably about 11:30 at night when I flew out of Dulles the other day. Guy's like well, maybe 10, I don't know. It was in the evening. But anyways, the guy was threatening the girl running the store, so she ended up calling security. I'm just thinking, man, imagine doing something dumb and getting probably a felony by doing something like that at the airport, especially an airport like that. Chris says there's a major difference between each TSA between the Central, the one by United, and the one by Frontier. Yeah. That is true. Oh, we got the CRJ inbound. I usually go to which one is nearest to my gate, but I have TSA pre-check now, so which makes life so much easier, especially while traveling. It made the Orlando trip that we took earlier this year when we went down for the Artemis rocket. It made that trip a lot easier. See a Frontier taxiing out. And again, we're showing about a 10 o'clock arrival for the A330. So it's gonna be too dark, unfortunately, for the stream. I was hoping we would see that tonight, but they got way late. And the second one coming in from El Paso, I'm thinking isn't gonna come in at all. Because it just keeps getting kicked back. They're supposed to have been here about 5:30. But I'm not sure what's going on tonight and why we have a national A330 coming in. Not sure when it's gonna leave. So we'll keep an eye on that. Assuming it'll leave sometime tomorrow. Well, Vader's passing north of Lakefront now. Still at about 1,000 feet. I think he's gonna go in and land at Lakefront or do a passover at Lakefront. Kind of curious to see if we might see. I think there's too much haze though. But it is north of the city. I think it's going to go into Lakefront and do a touch and go. Vader 01, a C-130 Hercules out of Youngstown. Wish it had come down here. I don't think we'll see it. Sometimes you can see stuff going into Lakefront from that angle, but I think there's too much haze tonight. But come on, air traffic control. We don't have too much going on right now. Have them come over here and do a touch and go. Frontier 1821 taxiing out for Las Vegas. Got Frontier or Southwest 792 should be pushing back as well for St. Louis. And American 650 for Los Angeles. Frontier 2697 for Phoenix also should be pushing back here pretty soon. American Eagle 4713, 12 minutes out, E175 from LaGuardia. Look at it downtown Cleveland through the haze. Yeah, it hasn't turned yet. Oh, they got him. Suspect in custody and stow. Meanwhile, Ryan O'Hearn, Pittsburgh Pirates first baseman, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs today. If you're a baseball fan, that's pretty wild. I don't know, maybe he's not going to go to Lakefront. He's north of us now. I can't see him because of the trees. But Bring it over this way. Come on, bring him over this way. Only at 900 feet. So 2M Walsley's asking, what's the FBO that all the private jets and charters go to here at Cleveland? Well, we got several of them. We have FlexJet with Constant Aviation over at the far end. We have Jets here in the middle of the airport. Atlantic's probably the one that most of them go to with SkyQuest, but we have a few FBOs here. And we got a couple over at Lakefront and a couple over at County as well. Chris says, the one by United, you have to take your shoes and belt off and take electronic stuff out. And the Central one, all you have to do is put your bag on the bag check thing and walk right through. I just wish they were the same. Just wish you knew what to expect. I'm sure that they probably, for security reasons, don't make it like that way where you can just know what to expect because people will try to find a way to game the system, but this is annoying. They're not always sure what to expect. Here's Frontier. Hamburg to California Condor. See, the mosquitoes are out tonight. At least they're not as bad over here. That's one of the downsides to the mounds on the other side. But I usually will stream out on a night like tonight when we're on the 6s. The mosquitoes will eat you alive over there. They're not as bad over here, but I can definitely feel them now, making lunch along my legs. C-130 is over Avon Lake, still heading west, so only at 975 feet. So if you're along the lakeshore, he's following the lakeshore right now. We should bring him in, turn around, and come over this way. Update on the A330s. Still nothing on the one out of El Paso. The one out of Kansas City now shows a 958 ETA. Passing northwest of St. Louis now, so maybe they'll pick up the pace a little bit. TWA Retros due in around 10 o'clock out of Dallas. Meanwhile, we got a Delta Connection CRJ taxiing out. And that is a diversion, flight 5461 that diverted in a little bit ago. Jacksonville to LaGuardia, taxiing out. They're going to head to LaGuardia and complete that flight. So whatever was going on in New York that was leading to a lot of diversions is cleaned up, and the aircraft are starting to head over to New York. And looking ahead for us over the next few days. So tomorrow, I'm going to try to do another live stream tomorrow night. We'll see what the weather does, but try to get up here after work. We'll do another one. As long as we get some interesting aircraft. Could be Columbus, you never know. We either do one tomorrow night, Thursday night, or Friday night. Almost for sure we'll do one Friday night, trying to get back into the habit of doing them every Friday night again, which is what we were doing for a while. Saturday, we're going to head to Lorraine for the Discover Aviation Air Show and Car Show. Sunday, I'm going to try to go to Mansfield for the B-29. Fifi, that is there over there this weekend, and a couple of other warbirds as well. So we're going to try to get at least one more live stream, if not two more live streams in there this week. So we'll see how tomorrow goes, see how Thursday goes, see how Friday goes. Try to do one Friday night for sure. And the next weekend, everything goes well, we're going to head to Ypsilanti, Michigan, Willow Run Airport for Thunder over Michigan. Looks like we're parking them on the pad, so we're not quite ready to go yet. We'll go to Thunder over Michigan and get the red arrows, the F4. And we'll see what else we happen to get up there. American Eagle 4713 on final out of LaGuardia. C-130 still heading west, approaching Huron now. Looks like they're following the shore. Wouldn't be surprised if you're up at Cedar Point that you might see them here in a little bit. Only at 975 feet. The other C-130 is out flying around. Looks like they're on final for Warren, their home base. Next few arrival flights, Air Canada Jazz Flight 735 out of Toronto. They're 25 minutes out. United 2398 out of Newark is 35 minutes out. Frontier 1055 out of Orlando is about 45 minutes out. Southwest 349 out of St. Louis is about 40 minutes out. American Flight 1934, A319 out of Chicago is a half hour out. The American TWA Retro Flight 560 out of Dallas-Fort Worth. That aircraft is an hour out now. Be close on daylight. We'll see what happens. Fortunately, we are on the wrong side of the summer solstice, and we're starting to lose a little bit of daylight every day. But we'll go as long as we can up here tonight. United 744 out of Houston is 1 hour, 28 minutes out. On the field, lots of aircraft getting close to pushing back. American 650 out of heading to Los Angeles. American Eagle 3466 will be heading to Chicago O'Hare. Southwest 792 will be heading to St. Louis. Delta Connection 5641 heading to Boston. We have Frontier Flight 2697 for Phoenix as well. All those aircraft are live. Delta Connection 5461, our diversion, is still sitting on the pad waiting for their clearance. American Eagle is inbound.
Contact clear on approach 12835.
4713, turn right when able. Continue via Golf, Alpha, cross runway 6 right. Contact on point 700.
Looks like both Southwest and the Delta Connection 175 over there are getting ready to go. Southwest actually is beginning their taxi. The C-130, by the way, about to pass over Cedar Point at 925 feet right now. So someone on Top Thrill 2 is going to get an amazing shot of a C-130 only about 400 feet above them. 925 feet right now at 200 knots. That ride, by the way, is 420 feet tall, if you've ever been to Cedar Point. So if you time it right, someone's going to get a really crazy view of a C-130. Animal Dog is here, says, I start a new job tomorrow morning on that ramp. Well, best of luck to you. Have fun. Stay safe. Watch out for those engines. Glad the weather isn't too hot for you right now, so enjoy it. You'll have a great time out there. Annie's asking, is it reverse ops tonight? Yep. Reverse from normal ops for us. We're on the 6s. 6 left for arrival, 6 rights for departures. I'd say probably 75% of the time we're on the 2 4s. But we got that wind out of the... Actually, we pretty much have no wind at all tonight, but it's been kind of east flow for a while now with the system that has moved through. It's over here tonight. Michael's here, says, thanks for sharing those amazing pictures from DC. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed those. I wish I would have got more. I wish I would have gone over to the other side. Just with I was only able to go for 1 day. It was supposed to have been a 3-day trip. We actually ended up kind of backing it off because of the heat. I was going to go with a friend, and then he decided not to go after we kind of talked about the heat and everything, which I don't blame him one bit. And then I kind of regretted canceling. Like, I was all for, like, it was really kind of my idea to cancel it. And then I kind of started to regret it after seeing the pictures from Friday, and ended up just going back for 1 day. But because I only went for 1 day, I had to stay near the bus stop or the metro stops. So I thought over by the Smithsonian would be a good idea, because I wouldn't have to go through the secure areas. I could have my regular bag instead of the clear bag, and then. But I wish I would have gone over towards the other side. It was nice to stay by the air conditioning because it was hot. It was about 103 degrees. Yeah, the real fuel was like 112, 113, somewhere in there. So it was a miserable day. I know a lot of people they had to take to the hospital who went to the show just because of the heat. But I wish I would have got more, but it was still great to see the B2. I had to use AI to kind of clean up a couple of my B2 shots that I posted. Just because of the lighting. So I was able to brighten them up and clean them up, and then I used AI to try to fix the wording, and it kind of did some weird things, but it was still neat to do it. I know that's cheating, but I'm not posting it on Jet Photos, so it's okay. I'm just glad to finally see a B2. But need to go back down there. I've been to DC a few times over the years. And every time I go, I'm like, man, I want to stay here longer. I want to see more. I want to do more. I want to go back to Dulles. I want to go back to DCA. And I just want to walk around, and I want to get some nice photos of the monuments at night, and just, you know, spend a few days down there. So, you know, I've kind of talked about it with my wife, and hopefully at some point we'll be able to take maybe a 3 or 4 day trip down there. Whoops. I did go to the Air and Space Museum. They had the kind of the rededication for it last week for their 50th anniversary. They reopened most of the exhibits. I think there's only 2 exhibits that are closed. It's like I think it's the modern space exhibit and the modern aircraft exhibit are the only ones that are still closed, if I remember right. But all the really important stuff that everyone wants to see, like the Wright Flyer, the Spirit of St. Louis, all that stuff was on display. So it was really neat to see a lot of that stuff. If I had any complaints about that museum, and I totally understand why they do it, they have most of the stuff behind glass. It is very dark in there, and it's hard to get photographs of a lot of things, like especially the space capsules. but had a great time seeing all that stuff. Checked another Apollo command module off on my list this year, so. But it was a good place to go inside and stay cool. But I wish I would have gone to the other side of the monument through the secure area and seen more. But the downside I had to that show was that pretty much everything only did one pass. And so I was really hoping that they would have done maybe multiple passes, maybe from each direction or something like that. But they only really did one pass, which was kind of disappointing. And I'm sure some of it had to do with the weather as well, trying to get everything in and out before the weather. But it was definitely a neat event, and got to see a lot of crazy aircraft that I haven't seen before or haven't seen in a long time. And, you know, seeing two B-2s and everything like that together is pretty wild. We actually saw 3 different B-2s. They flew Spirit of New York, Spirit of Texas, and Spirit of Indiana were the 3 B-2s that they flew on Saturday. And I don't know if they flew another one because they didn't do the stealth pass because of the weather, which would have been 2 B-2s and a bunch of fighters. I'm assuming it probably would have been the same 2 that were in the big formation, but I'm not sure which one did it on Friday. But yeah, if I had any regret, I think I wish I would have stuck to the original plan or gone Friday and Saturday, which was kind of the original plan, was to go Friday and Saturday and come back Sunday morning. But that heat was nuts. Later on in the day on Saturday, though, unfortunately we had the storms that came in, which, if you watch the event, it ended all the flyovers and it pushed the fireworks and everything way back. But the weather actually got pretty comfortable in the evening. Once the wind picked up and everything started going on, it actually got pretty comfortable in the evening. A couple of aircraft taxiing out for departure. Yeah, he just flew over Cedar Point, Put-in Bay, heading back now, the C-130. But we have Delta Connection 5641 taxiing out for Boston, and American Eagle 3466 taxiing out for Chicago. But I had a great time, and I want to spend some more time down there. T.M. Walsley City, hear about the 737-400 that went missing today. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how if I think it was K2 Airways, if you looked at the Flight Radar 24 data, it was rough. Those guys had a rough ending. I think the last data point was at like a 22,000 foot a minute drop. That was a rough way to go. I don't think it was an older Southwest aircraft. I think it was, I think Aeros, one of the, I forget what the airlines were. I don't think I looked at it, I wasn't sure if it was maybe it was a Southwest. They didn't have 400s in their fleet. I was wondering if maybe it was a US Airways aircraft, but it doesn't look like it was. Looks like they're gonna go sit on the pad as well. America's like, all right, I'm ready to go. But really sad to hear about that. And I'm sure that it won't end well, unfortunately, I'm sure. With that type of drop, wonder what happened. Wondering if I've read or I heard where they reported a navigation issue a few minutes before that, and I wonder if you know, there's speculation. You hate to speculate. You should always wait for the reports. But I wonder, you got to wonder if spatial disorientation maybe came into play. If they had a navigation issue and they turned around, if they were in the clouds or something like that. If maybe that happened and they got themselves disoriented and that's what caused it. Something else that really came to mind was US Air 427, United 585, the two 737s from the late 80s, early 90s. They had the rudder hardover issue that went straight down like that. That kind of came to mind, but I would imagine that airplane probably I'm sure it got the fix by now. that was put into place to prevent that from happening again. But wonder what happened, and got to think about the families and loved ones, because man, that's a rough way to go.
Take off 6 right, Envoy 34.
So Envoy's going to go first. They're heading to Chicago. The Delta connection E175 to Boston is behind them, ready to go. And then the other Delta connection, the CRJ, that's heading to LaGuardia, is still waiting over there. Speaking of tragedies, in Rittman this week, which is the town over from where I grew up, and a town that I spent a little bit of time in. I student taught at their rival district when I got it, well, at the last couple of years of college for me. And then I worked with their marching band for a couple of years. And neighboring town to where I grew up had a domestic incident go really wrong, where it sounded like a couple might have broke up or something, at least from what they said in the news. And the guy went in and shot and killed his ex-girlfriend, shot and killed her daughter, and then shot and killed a Rittman police officer, and shot a couple of other police officers and injured them, and their canine dog as well. So flags are at half staff here in Ohio, and really really sad event when that occurred. Really, it's a small town, a type of town where nothing really happens, and I know it's shaking a lot of people. We were in our living room watching TV. We live probably about a 15-minute drive north of there now. We live in the Medina area, and heard a lot of sirens on heading south. Like, what in the world is going on? And then saw on the news what was going on, and probably figured that's where they were heading. But sad day. I didn't know anyone that was involved, but still, it's really sad to hear about that. Got a JetBlue coming in tomorrow. JetBlue A320 due in around 11:30. So lots of interesting stuff going on tomorrow. I'm not sure about the two heavies, if we're going to get both of them or just one of them, and what time they're going to leave. The one out of El Paso is still showing scheduled. I don't think that one's going to be coming in. The other one out of Kansas City has a 9:58 ETA right now. They are passing over Central Illinois. A330-300. Probably a little bit too dark for the live stream, but we'll probably try to pick it up with the regular camera. Our C-17, or C-130, I apologize, after it flew over the islands and Cedar Point, heading south. Look, they're about to pass over Norwalk. So on a scenic trip of Northwest Ohio tonight. The PTFS Aviation asking, you're going to wait for the National A330, I believe it was over St. Louis. I don't know if we're going to get it on the stream, just because I don't think we're going to have enough light for this camera, but I may try to get it landed with the other one. I did bring the other one with me. So I might try to catch it landing with that one. Since right now we're still 50 minutes away from the ETA of that, so I don't think we're going to have enough light for this camera, but I might try to get it with the other one. Oops, sorry about that. Again, not sure why that's coming in. But gonna be neat to see that aircraft. Good Frontier taxiing out in the background. Pretty night here tonight. The mosquitoes are out, but other than that, it's a very pretty night. Got some nice cotton candy clouds up there tonight as the light reflects off the tops of the clouds. Got those high cirrus clouds out there as well. About 75 degrees here tonight and pretty much no wind. Frontier's flight 2697, they'll be heading back to Phoenix. Air Canada Jazz 735 inbound from Toronto. Just passing to the south of the field, should be here in a couple of minutes. In fact, I can see it off to my right. C-17, need them to turn left and come in and do a touch and go. Or C-130, I apologize, C-130. Don't have a departure time for that national, so we'll keep an eye on that. Have a Falcon 900 coming in tomorrow morning. Then we have a Delta 757 coming in from Cincinnati. They're heading to Las Vegas around 3 o'clock. Got the JetBlue, a couple of JetBlue A320s tomorrow as well. So it looks like an up gauge on the Boston flight. Love a special livery for JetBlue. I'd love to get the FDNY livery. I caught it in New York last year, but it was really foggy. I'd love to see that airplane again. Frontier heading to Phoenix. Got a lot of really tired people on this airplane when it lands. It'll land probably pretty close to the same time it takes off, Phoenix time. But after midnight Cleveland time, so might be some tired people on this airplane when they get there. That's a nice trip. We'll love to get back out there someday. Eric says, JetBlue inaugural from Fort Lauderdale arrives tomorrow night. Hey, we'll have to come up here to catch that. Don't think it comes in till late though, right? Yeah, 11 o'clock tomorrow night. So I guess we won't get that in the stream, but we'll try to get up here to do another stream for you tomorrow. Where's our C-130 at? That he's heading down towards Ashland now, so I think our dreams of a touch and go are probably dashed. Air Canada Jazz 735 about to turn final out of Toronto. We have American Flight 1934, A319 out of Chicago O'Hare, about 10 minutes out. Southwest 349, 18 minutes out from St. Louis. The A330 about to cross the Indiana border. Still showing about a 9:58 ETA. Looks like it's the silver one. Silver A330-300, the white one that was due in from El Paso. I don't think that airplane's coming in. Still just shows as scheduled. So I think after the Air Canada flight, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. It's getting a little bit dark for this camera. We'll head on, probably head over down the street a little bit to get the National when that comes in, get out of the mosquitoes a little bit. I don't know, we'll go a little longer with it. We'll see how much longer we keep the quality. Air Canada Jazz inbound from Toronto. Eric says JetBlue President even teased adding a second daily flight from Fort Lauderdale. Fascinating to see how that flight performs. Hopefully it performs well for him. I know there's some competition on that route, of course, with United and I believe Frontier as well, but hopefully it goes well for him. It was nice having Spirit as an option for that flight. So hopefully the JetBlue flight goes well. Fort Lauderdale is a really nice airport if you want to go for a day trip, which I did a couple of years ago. Really nice airport for that, but also a great place to visit. So I hope that flight goes well for him. Glad to see JetBlue has stepped it up a little bit. You know, adding New York and now Fort Lauderdale as regular flights. So hopefully it goes well for him long term. Should have American Flight 1934 turning final out of Chicago, and was Southwest out of St. Louis. Also got United Flight 2398 inbound from Newark, about 15 minutes out. Frontier 1055 out of Orlando is about 15 minutes out as well. Not really sure where Vader's going now. They're east of Mansfield, heading southeast. It's like Sea Fry's heading out tonight. Thanks for the stream. Well, hope you have a great night. Thanks for being here. Need the National to speed it up a little bit. The Delta Connection CRJ is still sitting on the pad, waiting for their clearance over to LaGuardia. Flight that diverted in earlier today. Thank you guys all so much for being here. If you haven't done so, hit that like button down below. Really helps out with the algorithm. Looks like we're at 67 likes, so love to try to get up to about 100 likes. So if you haven't done so already, hit that like button down below. Let's see if we can get up to 100 likes tonight. Also, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys all so much for your support. Hit 55,000 subscribers the other day, which is an insane number. So thank you guys so much for all of your support and everything that you do. Love to see if we can end the year somewhere around 70,000. I don't know if we'll get there, but that would be a really cool way to end the year. Of course, if I missed the stream earlier, got a lot of things coming up over the next few weeks. We got the Lorain Discover Aviation and Car Show this weekend at the Lorain County Airport. We have a C-54 that'll be at that show. We'll have the Pink Jet, we'll have some other warbirds as well. So hope to see you guys out there on Saturday. We'll also have the B-29 Fifi at Mansfield this weekend. Next weekend is Thunder over Michigan up at Willow Run Airport in Ypsilanti. And then, of course, we got the Cleveland Air Show in September. So lots of stuff going on over the next few weeks. NFL season as well with the heavies. Maybe do some streams in Columbus or Detroit as well. So all kinds of stuff going on. And talking with the wife, we're going to try to plan a trip to Charlotte later on this year as well to go see some of my relatives down there. My one uncle has been begging us to come down, which I really want to do. I've been wanting to get to Charlotte for a long time. It's been a few years since we've been down there, and I really want to get down there at some point. So hopefully we're able to make that happen. And if we can, we'll do a stream at Charlotte Douglas for you. Guardians are still down 2-1 against the Twins. Got the American A319 inbound from Chicago. See an American 737 is taxiing out. And again, the plan is to try to stream tomorrow night, Thursday night, and or Friday night. Maybe all three. We'll have to wait and see. Probably tomorrow night for sure. And then hopefully Friday night. We'll see what comes in. Had a series of concerts over the last couple of weeks for the community band that I'm in for the 4th. Well, we're done with that and in our summer break. So have a little bit of extra time here as well on Thursday nights and then over the weekend. So depending on how things go, we could do some more live streams for you. American 650 taxiing out. 737 will be heading to Los Angeles. I think the Delta Connection flight finally got their route clearance over to LaGuardia. They've been sitting on the pad now for a while. Diverted in earlier this evening from Jacksonville due to, I'm not really sure what was causing the diversions out of New York tonight, but they're still waiting for their clearance over there. We had the United earlier this afternoon that was able to head back over to Newark. Had a lot of diversions the last few days. A little farther down, I can't see him yet, but we should see him here in a couple of minutes. We should have UPS. Flight 1445 to Philadelphia, and I think 1442 to Louisville. Both those aircraft should be taxiing soon. I think the 767 is live. FedEx will leave a little closer to 11. American heading out. Delta Connection taxiing over now as well. Sounds like they are about ready to go.
American 650 past 1,500, just climbing to 14,000 as the 385.
We'll stay zoomed out. See, the autofocus does a little better if we're not zoomed in too much on this camera. August, we also have the Cleveland Airliner Collector Show coming up. Got the big show this weekend in Seattle, or one of the big shows this weekend in Seattle. Had the other one, I think it was last weekend in Denver. The Cleveland show isn't nearly that big, but it's still kind of a neat event if you want to pick up some aviation collectibles. It's on a Saturday in August, I believe. But our CRJ is ready to go. Take a look at the National, just to see where the National is. So showing 9:58, looks like it's about to cross the Ohio-Indiana border here pretty soon, A330. But I can definitely tell we're not going to get enough resolution with this camera to catch it, so we'll just probably have to pick it up with the other camera. Southwest inbound from St. Louis. Couple more inbound flights. United 2398, short final from Newark, 737 MAX 9, and then Frontier 1055 out of Orlando, Airbus A320neo, about 3 minutes out for that. Couple of aircraft that are probably a pretty good place to cut things off tonight. And then we'll get the two special aircraft that are coming in here. We have the A330 coming in from Kansas City for our national air cargo, about to pass the Ohio-Indiana border at Fountain City, north of Richmond. And then ahead of them, we have the American TWA Retros, about 23 minutes out for that aircraft Flight 560 out of Dallas, Fort Worth. It's up to 75 likes, so keep hitting that like button down there. See if we get up to 100 likes tonight. Your average RL player 15 is here. Says, hey Nick, we have the same name. Keep up the great work. What is your favorite airplane? Well, congratulations on the name. You've got an excellent name. Favorite plane, probably the B-17. I've always been a huge fan of the Flying Fortress.
That's right, clear for takeoff, number 5461.
Definitely a few airplanes I like. I mean, I guess every airplane
Clear for takeoff.
in different ways, but B-17s I thought were cool. The SR-71 is cool. I like the 777 as far as the commercial aircraft. 747 is always amazing. But I don't know, I'm a big fan of the B-17. That's probably the one I would have to say. Of course, we had the long-running joke, on my Instagram about the B-2, which I will admit is a really cool airplane. Kind of started because there were a couple of air shows I went to that B-2 was expected and I never showed up, or they were spotted over the lake on days when I wasn't up here. So the B-2 kind of became a bit of a joke, but definitely one of my favorite airplanes. Really neat airplane. Delta connection heading to LaGuardia. One of our diversions from earlier today, completing their flight from Jacksonville. Try my best to hang on to whatever focus I can get with this. This is a great camera in a lot of ways, but it does not do well at night. Even compared to the Sony camcorder that I had, I felt like the autofocus on that, even though it didn't do well with the light, the autofocus was a lot better at night than this one. This one really struggles with the autofocus. Got some bugs up by the light. One of those nights for you. So we got one more inbound flight tonight. Should be the Frontier out of Orlando. And then again, we're gonna grab the other camera and get the National when that comes in. I can't stream with the other camera, but I can, I wish I could, it just doesn't do very well with it. But I can definitely use it to record at night, so we'll get the National with that. Frontier touching down from Orlando. I actually wish there was a way to turn the autofocus off, but haven't quite figured that out yet. Epic Zach says, not sure why there are diversions in New York tonight. Past few nights are due to weather. Yeah, not sure either. I wonder, maybe just, you know, maybe capacity. I'm not really sure what was going on, but definitely a few diversions up there tonight. And thank you so much for picking up the boarding pass. Thank you all so much for your support. So I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight, because we are pretty much out of light. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Head home here pretty soon. We'll get the National when that comes in a few minutes. Oh, wait, I think it's UPS taxiing? We'll head out here pretty soon, get home, get the little guy to bed, get some dinner, get ready to go to work tomorrow. Then depending on how things go, we'll probably try to do another live stream. UPS 1441 Heavy is taxiing out for Louisville, 767. Let me try something here. Here's the UPS 767 getting blocked by the light. Be heading back to Louisville. Looks like they're going to take probably six right tonight, or six left tonight. I'm sorry. I think they usually try to take the closer runway. Trying to play with some stuff here to see what we might be able to do here.
Golf 2, clear for takeoff.
There's UPS. UPS 1441 Heavy heading to Louisville. So they're going to go out on runway 6 right tonight. I could actually go a little longer with this. I adjusted the settings down a little bit. So it won't be as nice as the other one, but we'll do the best we can. Be a little noisy, but that's okay. UPS 767, flight 1441 on their way to Louisville. Turn it down to 112 on the shutter. That might have been a little bit too slow. But UPS is on their way out to Louisville. Mosquitoes are making an easy lunch on my legs though. American 560, 15 minutes out. The TWA Retro. Probably just go ahead and switch sides. We'll catch it on the other side. And then the A330 is probably about 20 minutes out. But thank you guys all so much for your support tonight. Really does mean a lot. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. We'll get the other camera out and get some footage for you that way. But thank you guys all so much for your support. It really does mean a lot. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button down below. Follow me on Instagram at NickFliesMedia. And I'll let you know if I find out anything about when the National is going to leave or anything else that's going on. We'll try to pull them up for you. But thank you guys all so much for your support. It really does mean a lot. Hope you had a great Independence Day. Check out some of the other videos if you haven't done so already. Really hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you next time from Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. Have a great night, everyone.